Last year, we as a country broke a record for ourselves that we hadn't broken in 50 years. Can you guess what this record was? Gun deaths. 40,000 of them. That's roughly 109 people being shot and killed every day. As a country, we could easily lower this number and substantially. And no, I'm not suggesting taking all of your guns away. I'm suggesting making it harder for just anyone and everyone to get a gun. Background checks and waiting periods alone could help. I've seen personally what gun violence can do to people and families. I met a boy who was at MTSU on a recruitment visit from Parkland, Florida. He was going to commit to play baseball here. A few months later, I saw on Twitter that a massive shooting broke out in Parkland, Florida, at his high school. Some of his teammates were shot. This traumatized him so much that he quit baseball and did not leave his house for weeks. Thankfully, he was fine, but he saw his dead friends and classmates, and now his life will never be the same. All because one boy got his hands on a gun when he did not deserve it. I'm just a regular citizen who wants to see changes that need to happen, and who wants to be able to not worry about her little siblings and future children getting gunned down doing regular things like church or school or just walking down the street. Today, we'll look at some statistics and stories that might just make you change your mind about your guns. First, why don't we look at how well these gun laws have helped in other countries? People that have moved from places with gun laws to the U.S. see a huge difference. These countries have the same things as us. They have white men, violent video games, criminals, bad cops, and drugs. I read an article titled, "People from Countries with Strict Gun Laws Explain How Life is Different Compared to the U.S., published by the Business Insider. I read how moving to the U.S. greatly lowered Molly Staples' sense of security and in other ways lowered her quality of life. Molly Staples from Wales says she never saw a gun in her country. She was never scared. Then she moved to Brooklyn, New York. She says she's terrified that her life could end so suddenly with no control. When I say lowered her quality of life, she spends a decent amount of time paranoid that her life can be snatched away from her, and this is something I relate to. This is no way to live. In Sweden, you have to show that you need a need for a gun. This means for farming or something of the sorts, and they have to have special gun storage for cabinets so that little children can't access their guns. By the way, a study done by the University of Michigan found that 20,360 children were accidentally shot in the U.S. in 2016 alone, and that number has only gone up since then. These background checks and regulations greatly reduces gun violence. There were 37 gun deaths in Sweden in 2017. Only 37 compared to 40,000. So, what would these gun laws mean for current owners? 67% of American gun owners say they have them for protection. However, if there were less guns, there would be a substantially less amount of violence and less people would need guns for protection. 38% of gun owners say that it's for hunting. This would qualify as a need for a gun. So if you have a gun for hunting, all you have to do is prove your need and nothing happens to your gun. 13% of people have a gun for their job, so they'd keep theirs too. This leaves gun collectors, people that have guns for sport shooting and professional reasons. A simple background check at the minimum could help determine if these remaining people need a gun. A psychiatric evaluation would even further narrow down who should be able to possess a gun. So there really should be no debate. The facts speak for themselves. Not only do we have an insane amount of gun deaths, the country with stricter laws than ours have an insanely low amount of gun deaths. A simple law could save thousands of lives. America is notorious for its gun culture. So truthfully, gun laws here would not be as effective as they are in other countries, but it would without a doubt help a large amount. It 100% would not hurt anyone to pass these gun laws. If you cannot pass a background check or a mental check, you do not need a gun. That's all.